Ever notice how you can keep your cool with a rude stranger, but one comment from your parents makes you explode? It's wild, right? You're polite to your boss, patient with friends, but the moment your mom asks about your day, boom, instant irritation. This isn't because you're a terrible person. It's actually a psychological pattern that reveals something deeper about comfort, safety, and where we feel truly seen. Here's the thing. We don't get angry at people we're distant from. We get angry at people we're close to. Anger requires intimacy. With strangers, we wear social masks. We perform, we regulate, but with family, the mask comes off. Our raw, unfiltered selves show up. And sometimes, that raw self is exhausted, hurt, or misunderstood. This isn't rudeness. It's emotional exposure in its purest, messiest form. Psychology calls this affect regulation. When we're around strangers, our brains activate threat detection systems. We assess risks, we monitor tone, we control reactions. It's exhausting, but necessary. At home, though, our brains assume safety. The guard drops. The filter vanishes. So when frustration builds, it doesn't get bottled up. It explodes. Not because home is unsafe, but because we unconsciously trusted enough to let our emotions loose. But here's where it gets tricky. If you're consistently angry at your parents but nice to everyone else, it might signal something uncomfortable. You're seeking warmth outside because you're not finding it inside. Think about it. When home feels like criticism, judgment, or emotional neglect, we naturally gravitate towards spaces where we feel accepted. Friends become sanctuaries. Strangers become safer. And parents? They become emotional punching bags. This doesn't mean your parents are villains. Often, they're doing their best with the tools they have. But if their parenting style leans authoritarian, dismissive, or emotionally unavailable, you internalize a message. I'm not enough. That message doesn't just sit quietly. It festers. It turns into resentment. And when they speak, even kindly, your brain hears the old script. Criticism, expectation, disappointment. So you react defensively, instinctively. Here's a truth bomb. We don't explode at people we expect nothing from. We explode at people we desperately want something from. Validation, understanding, unconditional love. When your parents fail to provide that, even unintentionally, it hurts. And hurt, when unprocessed, transforms into anger, so every little comment feels like a reminder of unmet needs. Every question feels like an interrogation. Every silence feels like emotional abandonment. Now let's talk about the outside world. With friends, coworkers, or strangers, expectations are low. There's no history of disappointment, no childhood wounds, no unspoken resentments. So interactions feel lighter. You can be patient because you're not carrying emotional baggage. You can be kind because kindness doesn't cost you anything. But at home, every interaction carries weight. Every conversation has subtext, and that's exhausting. Psychologically, this pattern is called displacement. You're redirecting emotions meant for external stressors onto the safest target, your parents. Why? Because deep down, you know they won't abandon you. Strangers might, friends might. But parents, they're stuck with you, so your brain uses them as emotional release valves. It's not fair, it's not healthy, but it's a survival mechanism designed to protect you from social rejection elsewhere. Here's the dangerous part. This cycle doesn't just stay in your relationship with your parents. It becomes a blueprint. If you don't heal, you'll repeat this pattern with your own kids. You'll unconsciously recreate the same emotional environment that hurt you. And the cycle continues. Breaking it requires awareness. It requires acknowledging that your anger isn't really about them asking what you ate for lunch. It's about something deeper. So what do? First, recognize the pattern. Notice when you're snapping. Notice the triggers. Is it their tone, their questions, their silence? Awareness is the first step toward change. Second, understand that your parents are human. They have wounds too. They were raised by imperfect people. This doesn't excuse harmful behavior, but it reframes it. Her people. And understanding that creates space for compassion. Third, and this is crucial, communicate assertively, not aggressively, not passively. Assertively, tell them how you feel without blaming. Use statements that start with I feel instead of you always. For example, instead of saying you never listen, try I feel unheard when my opinions are dismissed. It's vulnerable, it's uncomfortable, but it's the only way to break the cycle of reactivity and create genuine understanding. Here's something most people don't realize. Your parents might not even know they're hurting you. They might think everything's fine. Why? Because communication in many families is surface level. How was your day? Fine. No one digs deeper. No one asks the hard questions. So resentment builds in silence. And one day, a small comment triggers an explosion. And everyone's confused. Where did that come from? From years of unspoken pain. Let's talk about healing. You can't heal what you don't acknowledge. So journal, reflect, maybe even seek therapy. Explore why certain triggers hit so hard. Often it's not about the present moment. It's about a younger version of you who felt unseen, unheard, or unloved. That inner child is still reacting. And until you comfort that part of yourself, the anger will keep showing up in unhealthy ways. Another layer, boundaries. Maybe you're angry because you never learned to set them. Your parents overstepped, and you allowed it. Not because you wanted to, but because saying no felt impossible. So now, even small intrusions feel massive. Learning to set boundaries isn't cruel, it's self-respect. It's saying, I love you, but I also need space to be me. And that's healthy, that's growth. Here's the paradox. The angrier you are at your parents, the more you care. Indifference is the opposite of love, not anger. Anger means there's still hope. Hope that they'll change. Hope that they'll finally understand you. But if that hope keeps getting crushed, anger turns into bitterness, and bitterness is corrosive. It eats away at you, not them. So for your own peace, you need to process it. Now let's flip the script. What if you're the one who needs to change first? What if waiting for them to be different keeps you stuck? This doesn't mean they're off the hook, but it means you take control of your emotional healing. You stop giving them the power to dictate your peace. You choose to respond, not react. And slowly, that shift changes the entire dynamic. Some practical tips. Before reacting, pause, breathe. Ask yourself, is this about now or is this about then? Create distance if needed. Not permanent disconnection, but space to reset. Spend time with people who affirm you. Build your own sense of worth outside their validation. Because when you're securing yourself, their comments lose power. They're just words, not verdicts on your worth. And if the relationship is truly toxic, if it's abusive, manipulative, or damaging, it's okay to protect yourself. Healing doesn't always mean reconciliation. Sometimes it means acceptance. Accepting that they may never change. Accepting that you deserved better. Accepting that you can grieve the parent you needed while building a life that doesn't revolve around their approval. That's not giving up, that's survival. But for most of us, the relationship isn't beyond repair. It's just stuck. Stuck in old patterns, old roles, old pain. And unsticking it requires courage. Courage to be honest. Courage to be vulnerable. Courage to risk rejection. But here's the reward. When you do the work, when you heal, you break generational cycles. You become the parent you needed. You create safety for the next generation. So next time you snap at your parents, pause. Ask yourself what's really happening. Are you angry at them, or at unmet needs, at their words, or at years of feeling unseen? Understanding this doesn't erase the hurt, but it shifts the narrative. From blame to healing, from reaction to response. And slowly, you'll find that the anger softens, not because they changed, but because you did.